Hello YouTube, my name is Agent Omega, and I do things. Today is Valentine's Day, and, well, I don't have anyone to celebrate it with. So, instead, I had a bunch of shower thoughts the other day about redstone circuits that I'm really excited about, and this is one that I thought, hey, I can actually complete this one and record it in a single evening. So that's what I'm going to do today for you folks, and without further ado, let me just toggle this sound option back on. We're going to chuck this to about 50%. There we go. And theoretically, maybe I'm too far away for this, but theoretically, yeah, you can hear some piston action going on. So, what we have here are a bunch of delay and clock circuits using some of the new and old mechanics in Minecraft, both in, 1.13 versions and 1.14 Snapshot. So we are on the latest Snapshot, which I think is, I'll get that number afterwards. But the basic premise was, have you ever had a delay in a circuit, and you just thought to yourself, man, the delay in this circuit is like too long or too short, and it's a really big pain to deal with because I have a lot of moving items and hoppers and stuff, but I don't really need it to be that long a delay. Well, this is the solution I came up with. So basically, we have three potential methods of interfacing with the delay, and I suppose you could also use a jukebox as a fourth, but I don't know all of the codes for that. But essentially, I thought to myself, alright, well, we have item frames, we have lecterns, we have composters, and they all emit varying signal strength. Why not feed that into a comparator delay circuit? And then you have basically a user interface. You just walk on over, you turn the lever a few times, and all of a sudden, hey, you've got variable delay. So take a look at that. And now, this isn't the best system. Like, really, I want a monostable pulse out back here, but I couldn't really think of a good way to do that. Actually, yes, I just have thought of a good way to do that. No, that wouldn't actually work the way I think it should. So this is what I have for now, just to demonstrate the fact that it's a variable delay. If I switch it over to this direction, which I know for fact is pointed to 1, because the arrow by default starts pointed diagonally up and to the right. If I go ahead and push this, we'll find that it toggles on and then basically immediately toggles off. And that is because we have a signal strength of 1 passing through here, and that means that it's signal strength 0 over here, so there isn't actually a delay. It's strictly just a 1-to-1 input-output type deal. If I toggle this all the way to 8th position, however, when this turns off, you'll see we have a decent amount of delay. Now, that's not terribly exciting for item frames, but the lectern gives us a whole lot more options. So, obviously, we've got 1 through 8. Let's crank it up all the way to 15. Boom. Look at that. That's what you would get if you just input a full-strength redstone signal into one of these delay circuits. Let's pick something kind of halfsies between 8 and 15. Yeah, it would be between 8 and 15. And this is kind of the closest we can get because there are no half signal strengths. Look at that. Variable signal strength, and you can do it while the system is in use. Now, I also included this one with a composter. Unfortunately, I don't think this one is going to be quite as useful because I think it also only goes up to signal strength 8, and unless you're locking this hopper at the bottom, then the compost will just immediately drain out and into bone meal. So this one might not have the best usages, but what you could potentially do is have a system with a hopper feeding into this composter, and then if you push the button at the correct time, when the compost strength is just right, then maybe, this delay circuit out the back has, just the right timing or whatever, and then you get through some sort of a time-based lock. So, although I don't think that just by vanilla or usage or whatnot, this doesn't seem the best, it could have its applications, and so that's why I wanted to present this one. Now, onto the main attraction. This is, well, very obviously a clock based upon this delay system. Now, really quickly, let's just go over how it works, and then I'll also demonstrate the variable functionality in real time. So basically, we have the delay circuit on the other side of this block. When the block extends, we get the signal strength, in this case 15, because that's what the book is on, out the back, and it will go around in a loop until it decays. Over here, we have a falling edge detector. Now you'll notice that I've got these set to kind of oddly specific timings. If I set this to anything less than 3, if I set it to 1, then the observer gets thrown out because it's a monostable pulse, basically. If I set it to 2, then the observer goes up and down, but if you set the signal strength of this to 1, then it goes up and down so fast that it doesn't actually trigger the observer on the bottom tick, and that makes it kind of useless in this scenario. Now, that also has very interesting ramifications for other circuit types, but for this clock, we absolutely need to get that falling edge pulse, and so that is why it is 3 ticks. Conversely, over here, we have this one on 2 ticks because we don't want to be turning this into a T flip-flop. That would just make the system not work, because it would toggle on once and then it would stay on. Now, as I mentioned, we are on signal strength 15, so let's go ahead and pump this all the way down to 1. And you can immediately see that even without exiting the book, the clock has gotten that much faster. And unfortunately, I haven't thought of a great way to tile this just yet, but I think just having a variable clock like this... Ooh, I think I'm getting a bit of lag with that. But even just having a variable clock like this offers great potential. And you could do this a slightly less laggy way, I think, if you put in... Maybe... if you put in, like, a repeater over here, sort of, I think you would need to negate a repeater. That's signal strength, yeah. Negate a repeater, feeding into a comparator with subtract signal strength on. Then invert the signal coming out of here. Then you could possibly do without an extra piston, but I think, so far as I can tell, you need some kind of falling edge detector. And you need some way to keep it off by default. And then only toggle it on when the clock cycle has happened. Now, let me just break this redstone real quick. And put it back. So the way I initially triggered it, because obviously when the system is off, you're not going to be able to use it, I just put a button down here, and once that button retracts, we start getting the default behavior. In another redstone circuit, you might have a different sort of trigger for this clock. And then same thing with the delay. Like, obviously here, we just have a negation feeding into the side of these comparators, and that's what keeps it off when it's not, needing delaying. But let's say that you don't actually have an output here, you just have the lectern, and you have your variable delay set, and then some other system comes in and toggles this off or on briefly. That's just how you can basically change your circuits in real time on the fly. And this might not seem like the most fantastic breakthrough of all time, but as a computer scientist / software engineer, this is like debugging your code. It's like being able to say, hey, change this delay value to, 8 or 12, 15, 1, and then seeing what all the outcomes are in real time while your circuit's running. I don't know if I've seen anything like that before, so this was just a shower thought that I had, and I thought it was super interesting, so I just really quickly wanted to demo that to you all. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please click that like button. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more of this kind of content, then click that subscribe button below and click the bell to be notified. If you have any questions about these circuits, I'll probably also be including the world's download, so feel free to inspect them. But if you want to know more about specific mechanics, or you think there's something about my explanation that requires clarification, then leave that in the comment section below. And with that, I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching, everybody.